Okay, good evening, folks. Welcome to the 63rd meeting of the Town Council of Happy Valley Goose Bay. Again, it's a privilege and an honor to be serving as your mayor this evening, as our mayor and deputy mayor of the town. So again, it's a privilege and honor to be sitting here in this chair. So our first item is to adopt the agenda of the 63rd meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. The calling for the vote? Any all ayes?
Aye.
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 Nay. Motion passed. First item on the agenda is delegates, and tonight we have Jordan Michelin, and he's here to talk about the town's safety. So you're welcome to come forward, Mr. Michelin. And Councillor Palmer, you want to tell them what the rules are?
Yeah, I don't have a copy here. Do you have a latest copy of the,
He's just too lazy to just.
is there an updated one? Which hasn't been updated online yet, has it? Okay. No, I don't have
We've
an
been having
updated
some
copy.
issues with our stuff online.
They're right, I couldn't find get an updated copy online. But in the gist of it, basically, Mr. Michelin, you have 10 minutes to speak, and just to make sure that, can't hear it?
I can barely hear you.
Can't get any closer. But you have 10 minutes to speak. Council won't interact during the discussion. Council and mayor may ask questions for clarification purposes only, and we ask that you be respectful and mindful of the policy that's in place, and any disrespect or towards council or to staff won't be tolerated and could result in dismissal from the chamber. That's basically it in a nutshell. Thank you.
Now, as for clearing things up, should something need to be cleared up, I am not a speaker. It's not something that I've done, so you'll have to bear with me as I try to interpret things for you to the best of my ability.
Take your time, Jordan.
Okay.
Don't be nervous. Take your time.
Okay, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so my name's Jordan Michelin. Been a local resident of Goose Bay, Labrador, 31 going on 32 years. My career, my background, 6 years working for and with the Department of Justice, followed by 3 to 4 years in child and youth care work. Some of the best years of my life was absolutely child and youth care. Experienced a lot within my career in the Department of Justice, working as a correctional officer specifically. It came with a lot of personal experiences, work experiences, good and bad. But with that being said, because of my career experiences, I have come to witness the failures of our security and the safety of the town. I can provide many examples. I won't at this time, but if that's something that's needed, then I can remember everything as if it was yesterday. So that being said, I do understand that our correctional facility, our local correctional facility at the moment is down due to renovations. That's a scary thought. I think it's a scary thought for the community because of the idea of entertaining a mega shelter, and I will get into that a little bit further. I actually brought a map with me. I did some homework today, and within a 1 kilometer radius of this mega shelter, you've got the YMCA, you got Gears Gaines. These are all public areas that people avail of. On the same strip within that kilometer radius. We have a hospital which is currently struggling to maintain the services that people need coming through. You speak to the locals. Um, it, it's in black and white. They are struggling to keep everybody in and keep people flowing out. We have restaurants. There's a Dairy Queen just down the road, and if I recall, not so long ago, that was broken into, and there was destruction to the property for this individual who was told to leave, whether he was loitering or not. But if you look at the Dairy Queen, there is outdoor picnic tables for children, families to sit down and enjoy themselves. It's not a place for transient loitering. Just across the way from here, there's a Kinsman Park Center with a splash pad. I actually drove there just to have a look before I come here, and there's a sign outside of Kinsman Park, and it does state on it that it's unsupervised. We have the College of the North Atlantic. There's a Tim Hortons. It's just not a feasible place to be putting a mega shelter. And as for, I like to believe, and I think that we should be rewarding the people of Goose Bay, the family-oriented, the tax-paying, the law-abiding. That's what we should be rewarding. That's who we should be looking out for. I'd like to see Goose Bay prosper. I'd like to see it grow. It has every bit of potential. Now, I'm not saying that we can't entertain a detox center or something. I understand that. I feel sympathy for the homeless that we encounter and see walking around. But the fact of the matter is, the destruction that it's come with, the disrespect, I feel that our community members are kind of at their wits' end with the chaos and just the disrespect, So I'd like to think that I can advocate on behalf for the town that the mega shelter, the geographic location of where it's being entertained to now, it's just, I absolutely oppose it. I do feel that members of the community would say the same, but they can speak for themselves. That being said, I will share one personal experience. April 24th. I live in a very family-oriented, safe location and area of town. Not in a million years did I think I would encounter the experience that I did at 4 o'clock in the morning on that date. I had a young man, actually. He was at my door, and the eyes were rolled back into his head. He was drooling and frothing at the mouth, and it was so cold that it was icicles. And this man was counting 15 to 20, and it was out of a horror movie. And what a thing to wake up to. Again, I live in a very family-oriented, safe neighborhood. I'll tell you for free that scared the poo out of me. But that goes with my point of this mega shelter and the unsecure streets that we do have at the moment. I appreciate the RCMP and every efforts that they do make. We need them. As far as I am concerned, it's a tough job working in the field of justice. It's a tough job. So my hat is off to each and every one of them. But I like to believe that before we can entertain a mega shelter, we have to get our other ducks in a row first. That's what I'd like to believe. Sorry again, I'm not a great speaker. But I stepped my first foot in this building Friday. I lived here almost 32 years. It's a beautiful building. But I did come across this piece of paper out in your guys' shelving stand, and it's safety in public places. Every day, millions of people wake up, go to work or school, take part in social events, but every so often the unexpected happens. An earthquake, not here, fire, chemical spill, an act of terrorism, or some other disaster. Well, I think included in that could be our basic safety. Again, going back to April 24th, when I had my experience. Those are things that are happening and that our community are experiencing as well. And yeah, I'm just here to voice that concern and hope and pray that there's a better fix, a better outcome, a better plan. So that's what I got.
Thank you,
Thank
Judy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, and the council has taken note of everything you said. Next item is the adoption of the previous minutes from the 67 minutes from July 23rd, 2024. Looking for a mover and the seconder, please.
I'll move.
Moved by Council Compton Hobbs,
Second.
seconded by Council Pomeroy. Any discussions?
Did you say 67 or 62nd?
60 seconds, if I said 67, 60
Okay.
seconds, sorry. Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? On the Colin, Mayor Andrews?
I already said aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, this is a shortened council meeting on August. We always have it, basically just approve the checks and many other items come up. So tonight, we do have one correspondence here, and that one was from GBAC, and will be included in the council package and for the people to read if they want to read it later on. So if the only committee that did any meetings or any presentations or have any recommendations is the Community Planning and Development Committee, and that one is chaired by Councilor Jackie Compton-Howard, so I'll pass the floor over to you.
Thank you, Councilor Broomville, Acting Mayor. The Community Planning Development Committee met on Tuesday, August the 20th. Present was myself, Chair of the committee, Councilor Bert Pomeroy, Councilor Denise Rumble, CAO Nadine McCauley, ET Mark Urquhart, GIS Mark McCritis, and EA Kathy Eddy. So the meeting was called to order 4:30. There was no presentation or delegation. We reviewed the minutes. We had updates on action items from Spruce Meadow Farm, and we discussed the vehicle for hire regulations and Airbnb, and these items are being worked on, and we will get a briefing note in the next meeting from both of those items. New business, their monthly permits. There were 3 building permits issued in July. There was no deferred Crown Land applications. We had new Crown Land application from Mud Lake Road, NGC quarry application, and South Branch Road quarry permit application, which I'll bring forward as recommendations. There was no variance land use. We discussed the amendments on the development regulations. I will be bringing forward one that's ready to be voted on tonight. Other new business was the west of Heffler. I'll pass that one on after we get into recommendations. There was a discussion and some information. There was concern expressed with the distance of cabins to quarry areas. Cabins are discretionary and quarries are permitted. Quarries are more beneficial than cabins in a resource area. Resource areas are already limited with cabins scattered everywhere, and with the requirements placed on quarries, we need to start looking at options and be more selective about when people can apply for cottages. This is the sense of the committee at the time, the discussion that we had. Consider looking at dividing the resource areas into two sections such as R1 and R2 as a way to plan for future development. The committee asks for a briefing note to outline the options in the next coming months in our committee meetings so we can discuss this further. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September the 17th at 4:30 p.m. I ask that you please accept my report as presented.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Cotton-House. And looking for a second there?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilor Palmer. A second by Councilor Palmer. Any discussions? Okay, hearing no discussions, calling for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay. Motion is carried. Other than that, there is no other committees met this month, so our only other item is,
Recommendation.
oh, sorry about that, the recommendations. Yes, Councilor Cotton-House had a bunch of recommendations for us.
All right, Crown Line application 162954 Mud Lake Road. The Community Planning Development Committee recommends that council provide no objection to Crown Lands application 162954 located off Mud Lake Road on the condition that future development complies with the town's development regulations.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Cotton-House. Looking for a second there. Councilor Rumble, discussion? Councilor Pomeroy.
Yeah, just to clarify, this was an application from Newfoundland Labrador Hydro. The intent is to construct a new road on the inside of where the existing road is at the end of Mud Lake Road. So, just in case people are wondering where's to.
Okay, thank you. So that is like basically the new road that'll go behind it. Yeah,
And they
Well-
need to acquire the Crown land in order to
Yeah.
do that.
okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, calling for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All against? Motion carried. Thank you. Next one.
Crown Land application 7117605 NGC. The Community Planning Development Committee recommends that council provide no objection to Crown Lands application 7117605 on the condition that the future development complies with the town's development regulations.
Thank you. Calling for a second there. Councilor Winters, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, calling for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All against? Motion carried. Thank you.
Crown Land application 7113097 Tundra. The Community Planning Development Committee recommends council provide objection to Crown Lands application 7113097 located off of South Branch Road as the proposed quarry area is within the buffer areas listed for residential development.
Okay, thank you. Calling for a second there. Councilor Rumble, discussion? Councilor
Yeah,
Palmer.
again, it says for housing development, but really it's in a resource zone.
Cottages.
And cottages are within that area, seasonal recreational
Oh, okay.
cottages. And the application was for a quarry that would have blasting taking place within, too close to those cottages, basically. So,
Which
Okay.
triggered our discussion around quarries and
Yeah.
R1, R2
Trying
in
to,
the
yeah.
future, trying to, determine
Okay, thank you.
locations.
Any further questions? Calling for none, calling for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All against? Motion carried. Thank you.
Happy Valley Goose Bay Municipal Plan Amendment Number 3, 2024 dash, the the Community Planning Committee, the Community Planning Development Committee recommends council support the motion to approve the Happy Valley Goose Bay Municipal Plan Amendment Number 3, 2024, which rezones a small section of land behind 25 Montagnus Road from OSPT to RLD1 to match surrounding property boundaries as previously adopted under council-approved motion number 2024-06-06.
Thank you, Councilor Compton Hobbs. Seconder? Councilor Rumble. Discussion?
We've brought this one
Yeah.
before. It's just,
Okay, Council Palmer, right?
Yeah, as Councillor Compton Hobbs was going to say, this has been in the works for quite some
Yeah.
time. It's a piece of property on Montagnus, and it's, as she indicated, it's just to square it off with other
Yeah.
properties there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Any further discussion? Okay, calling for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Against?
Oh, sorry.
Councilor Andrews, or Deputy Mayor Andrews, you there?
Aye, I said aye, sorry.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you.
Happy Valley Goose Bay Development Regulations Amendment Number 4, 2024. The Community Planning Development Committee recommends council support the motion to approve the Happy Valley Goose Bay Development Regulation Amendment Number 4, 2024, which rezones a small section of the land behind 25 Montagnus Road from OSPT to RLD-1 to match surrounding property boundaries as previously adopted under council-approved motion number 2024-06-07.
Thank you. Seconder? Councilor Rumble. Questions?
Just so, to clarify, the previous motion was 06, and this one is 07, so they are different. That's why there's two.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, calling for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you.
So the next one, I'm going to pass it over to Councilor Bert Pomeroy, as he's a member of the Community Planning Development Committee, and I am Chair of the Housing Coalition, and I am going to declare a conflict on the next one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so please note that Council Compton has declared a conflict on interest on this one, so Council Pomeroy is going to do this one.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Bert,
Do we have to
Vote
vote
on
on
the conflict.
first?
She declared her own conflict.
yeah, I declared it, I didn't ask it at all. I
Oh.
declared it.
Okay.
Okay, shall I continue? So, Phase 2, west of Heffler, the CPD Committee recommends council approve the subdivision application for construction of Phase 2 of the west of Heffler subdivision, subject to compliance with all the town's development regulations and conditions.
Thank you, Councilor Pomeroy. A seconder? Councilor Rumble. Just comments or questions? I'll have one comment, I guess. Basically, this is just really a formality, because this was really done, signed off way back in 2010, somewhere around there. So when they go advance on the second phase, then they just have to come here, and that's what we're doing here now.
Correct.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Hearing none, calling for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you. That's the last of your recommendations, right, Councilor Haas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, like I said, we normally don't do full meetings in the month of August unless special events come up. So I do believe that Councilor Pomeroy has a motion there.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just the one, besides the approval of checks, which will come later. Finance Administration and Policy Committee recommends council approve the request to sponsor a team in this year's Labrador-Grenville Health Foundation Annual Golf Tournament in the amount of $600.
Thank you. Looking for a second there?
I'll second that.
Councilor Winters. Any discussion or comment?
Just if we can just get that correction in the actual motion, it's the Health Foundation. It's not the Health Authority.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yep.
Can you repeat it?
What's that?
You said it's not what?
It's the Labrador-Grenville Health Foundation, I believe, is the correct.
LG Health Foundation?
It says Labrador-Grenville Health Golf Tournament.
And the golf tournament.
On the motion, no, it's foundation.
LG Health Foundation Golf Tournament. Then down below it says Labrador-Grenville Health Annual Golf Tournament. So,
You should have this motion.
all right, there's one more motion.
Okay, we haven't voted on this one yet, right? Okay, any more discussion?
Yeah, I just need a clarification, a point of clarification. So is it the foundation or the corporation?
It's the foundation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call it for the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's against? Motion is carried. Thank you. You have one more, right, Council Pomeroy?
Yes, electric bus project. Be it resolved that the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay has the capacity and authority to undertake the electric bus project as per the application to the Rural Transit Solution Fund, and hereby undertakes to enter into and execute an agreement for the RFST funding, and authorize the Chief Administration Officer to sign the agreement on behalf of the town of Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Thank you. Looking for a second there?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Council Pomeroy?
Yeah, although I brought forward the motion, there's a few questions that I still would like to have answers to before I can agree to the actual resolution. I'm still wondering, is there a plan in place of how this bus is going to operate? Do we have a plan in place? I can't seem to get an answer. And I don't know if the CAO can give us an update of where we are with the planning of how this is going to operate, where it's going to operate, and how much it's going to cost taxpayers.
There have been a few discussions with council. We have not finalized a plan yet.
Any idea when there might be a plan?
We'll have to get
Because
together to
I
discuss.
haven't really had any discussions that I'm aware of trying to work on a plan of how this is going to work. I'm still in the dark. I don't know. I mean, I find it hard. I'm not against the electric bus, but until I know how it's going to operate, who's going to is the town going to operate it? Is that part of the plan? Or like, do we have a plan? We don't have a plan. And that's the concern I got.
Thank you, Council Pomeroy. Council Copenhagen?
My understanding from our last discussions is that we would be meeting to discuss this further prior to budget meetings. So hopefully we'll get some discussion before the budget.
You know, I have a question too, we'll pass the gavel. My question is basically same as Council Pomeroy's is, I'm concerned how much, we know how much the feds are going to bring to the table, how much have we got to come up with? And that includes everything we have to do from setting up a charger, having it stored, how many chargers we're going to need, all that kind of stuff. That can be expensive money to go ahead with a project without knowing that, without done any research, is putting the cart before the horse, in my opinion. Any further?
I'd like to make a
questions?
comment. I'd like to make a comment there, Madam Chair or Mr. Chair.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, did you say?
Yeah,
Okay, yep. So there's been numerous documents floating between council and the community planning and development, community development officer, Mr. Osmond. In there was some explicit numbers that showed what the contribution from our perspective was, and what the contribution from the federal government, and there's a contribution from the province as well. And I think those numbers need to be dusted off. In terms of chargers and all that, that was part of the parcel. The $800,000 project that we entered into, we had $662,000, I guess, from the federal government, $100,000 from the province, and I think our total was somewhere between 60 and 80 because there was a contribution from Newfoundland Labrador Hydro as well. So those numbers have been floating around for over a year, and the discussions that we've had, the previous council 3 years ago had this study done by Dr. Habib in terms of how I guess it was going to run in terms of stops and how the process was going to work from a feasibility and a costing perspective. There were some changes made in terms of from fossil fuels to electric. But yes, we did agree that we were going to meet. We also agreed that we were going to, in short order, have discussions with community groups. And that didn't happen. So those need to be set up so we can get this project off our table and into fruition, because I think that it will be something that we will be positively make a positive influence or change in one facet of our community. And I've had a couple of seniors that continue to ask me about it because they would use the facilities or use the services of the bus. So I think that the onus was on staff back when we met last to discuss this. I think it might have been in committee about getting everybody community-wise, user groups, those that were noted together to see what kind of response and see what kind of input into planning, final planning was going to be taken. So I would like to see that happen. And once that's happened, then I think that council, we can sit and see the actual numbers that will make that will make the project based on what the community finalizes. So that's just my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. Council
Yeah,
Palmer.
I just wanted to add, I mean, no doubt this will be a good service to the community, and it's needed. Certainly will be a big help, and it will be an asset to the community. Going back, my concern is it's hard to vote on something when we don't know if the cost is going to be $200,000, $300,000 a year to maintain, or if it's going to be more. We don't know that, and that's what concerns me the most.
Thank you. Council Palmer, or Councilor Compton Hobbs.
I think we can't really move forward on this until staff do come back with some research and information, which I think they have done. So really, I mean, to move this forward, we need more information, which is what I thought we were waiting on prior to the budget. So I'd say the next couple of months we'll have a better answer of how much it's going to be to operate this electric bus, which I think is going to be a huge asset to the community.
Thank you. Councilor Rumble.
Thank you. My input is that I understand Councillor Pomeroy's concern and trepidation about how are we going to run it, and we do need a plan. I am hopeful that between reaching out to community partners or what we do, that it may not necessarily rest solely on the town's head. My concern is that if we didn't move forward, when this Rural Transit Solutions Fund says we are going to give you, as the mayor said, $662,000 from one source, $100,000 from another source, that is $772,000. Which is the lion's share, and it is specifically for that. So I think sometimes things get confused. People say, why would you spend all that money on a bus when we could use A, B, C, or D? And just so that the public understands, when it is a Rural Transit Solutions Fund, it is geared specifically for that purpose. So it's not like we're taking money that could be used elsewhere and putting it towards this. It's somebody saying to us, we have this pot of money, this is what it's for, we can give it to you, provide the infrastructure, and if we have to sit on the bus for a few months and have it as, something that's, sitting there and not in use while we figure out the best plan, I would rather do that personally than say no and have the opportunity slip by.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to make the final comment that this is $750,000 that has been put on our table for a project. I think that this project can't be repurposed, as Councilor Rumbold has said. It can't be reprofiled to a water sewer project or anything. It is a rural transit. If we lose this project, I think it would be very sad for our community's perspective. But I think the onus is on us that we have been given this project in our hands for the limited amount that we've looked at in terms of costing, the $200,000 minus. I think the onus is on us sitting around the table to make this project work. And that's my final comment.
Thank you, Your Worship. Any further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, calling for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Me?
Against?
Thank you. And the final item is the checks, correct?
And council.
Clarification, so the motion passed with 2/3 vote?
I don't know about that. That's something they'll come back to us after they do the thing, because our
What
deputy
motion?
mayor is not here, right, so.
What motion?
Well, there was a motion, so is the...
We had 4 in favor, 2
I just think,
against.
do we need clarification from CAO? Does this require 2/3 vote of council?
There was 4 voted in favor,
4 yes, 2 no.
Yeah,
majority.
Is it
majority
majority or
has
is it 2/3?
this one would be majority.
This would require 2/3? 2/3 would be 5.
Why would this require 2/3?
I don't know, I'm asking the question.
I think it's a majority vote.
There's very few things under the Municipalities Act that requires a 2/3 vote of all council.
So it doesn't require...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this would not require 2/3.
I'm just thinking if it requires town funding.
This motion does not.
Okay.
Well, that's not hard to check this one out
Yeah, okay,
afterwards, right?
Yeah, we have the
Yeah.
vote, we have the numbers of the vote.
Yeah, so it has passed. Because the minutes need to reflect that, the motion.
Yeah.
You-
Motion has passed, but it will be looked into for clarification from the Municipalities Act. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for me.
Yeah, and then, so you have the checks, and that would be it then,
Yeah,
correct?
trying to find the motion for that one, yeah? Yeah, I don't have a copy of that. Thank you, Chair. I move that council approve checks in the amount of $529,954.27.
Looking for a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councilor Compton has a seconder. Any discussion? Hearing none, calling for the vote, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Councilor Pomeroy. Councilors Forum. I'll start off with my immediate left, Councilor Winters.
Thank you, sorry. Thank you, Councilor Brumfield. I just want to keep this short. Just 2 things. Condolences to the family of and friends of Hank Coates. Hank Coates was a family friend and a guy that went through cancer before, along with my brother, so we became pretty close, and I'd just like to send condolences to the Coates and Powell families. And one other thing is congratulations to all the successful athletes that competed at the NL Games from Goose Bay and from Labrador. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Compton Hobbs.
Yeah, I just got a couple of things too. I'd like to talk about public safety a second. There was a rally held, as we know, a couple weeks ago. And, there was a rally held a couple weeks ago around, public safety, and, as we know, there was 300+ people who showed up. We have had meetings with the Premier and our MHA and the Minister of Justice, and I will give credit where credit is due. We have seen some improvement in the past couple of weeks. This issue has been going on a long time, 10 years. It's just, it seems to get worse every year. There's a lot of drugs in our community. The conversations we've had around the table with the Premier is, we definitely need some drug police in our community to try to, control the drug situation that's out of control right now. And we're continuing to have meetings with the Premier, so that's good. We're trying to work together, we're trying to, ensure the community that public safety is our priority, and it is, and it has been for a long time. Trying to find a solution is not easy. They're now talking about detox and treatment centers, which is good news for the community. Having it right in Labrador so people don't have to fly to the island and wait 12 weeks to get to a treatment center. So I'm happy about that, and hopefully our talks will continue and that this won't, because it just seems to me that, August is always a hot month, and people, there's always an increase in crime in August, increase in numbers in the community. We talk about it, and then, October comes and it's forgotten about. Well, we can't do that. We need to keep the feet to the fire, until this is resolved in the best way possible. So I'm hopeful that we'll continue our meetings, and we will try to work together with everybody involved to find a way forward with the community and public safety. I want to wish all the students well that are heading off to university, empty nest stage for the parents, but a new chapter for the students. So I wish them all well in their studies, and that they enjoy and have fun and work hard and meet their goals in life. And to all the students who are about to return to school next week, they're probably not as happy. But, everyone be safe, drive safe, keep an extra eye out for children on the streets and in the public school zones and so on. And I want to talk just briefly about housing. There was a big announcement today in housing, as you know, 28 senior housing units coming to Happy Valley Goose Bay. That's huge, and I'm so pleased with that announcement today, and I'm sure all the community out there are just as happy, and I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Councilor Haas. Councilor Pomeroy.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just to go back to the bus, just want to be clear, I'm not against the electric bus. I'm just wary about agreeing to things without knowing the financials around it, that's all. Hopefully we'll get those before long during our budgeting process, and hopefully it can be something that we can sustain as a community into the long term. I know the city of St. John, New Brunswick has 6 of them. They seem to be working quite well in the city, and my understanding is that one of those buses will take roughly 27,000 kilograms of CO2s out of the atmosphere on an annual basis, which is good for the city of, and it's a small project. It might not seem like much, but for our community, I think it will be, certainly will be a benefit to the community. Let's hope that we can find a way to make it work, and that's where I'm to on that. The other thing, congratulations to the Housing and Homeless Coalition and Chair Jackie Compton-Hobbs and all partners involved. Great announcement today. Looking forward to seeing that start. I know that the Mr. Noseworthy is here in the gallery. I want to welcome him here as well. And I know you probably had a part in doing this, and it's good to see you back in town. And thank you for your involvement in that. We need to see more developments like this in the community. Kids are heading back to school next week. Just want to remind drivers to be vigilant, and wish all teachers, students, and parents a successful start to the school year. With that,
Thank you. Councilor Rumbold.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by thanking Jordan for presenting to us today, especially anybody who stands up in front of us and says, I'm not a public speaker, I don't enjoy this. We appreciate everybody who comes in front of us, but I appreciate how, it's not the most fun thing to stand up there and bringing your concerns forward in this format. And as you said, you haven't visited our building before. We encourage all residents to come out and take in the proceedings that happen in council chambers. And so we really do appreciate you. We hear you. And we will continue to advocate for public consultation for any consideration that the province does for any mega shelter or any project that's undertaken. We will continue as a council to advocate for public consultation so that residents like you get the opportunity to have your voice heard. I wanted to as everybody else said, everybody's going back to school soon. I want to welcome the new students that will be coming into Happy Valley Goose Bay to our local campuses. So not only do we have the local College of the North Atlantic campus, but we've now got a thriving Labrador Institute as well. So we will have some students that are new to Happy Valley Goose Bay. So we welcome them to our area. And as the other counselor said, we'll have some that are leaving and flying the nest and going off to bigger centers, and we wish them all the success. With the increased traffic and the kids that are going to be on the road, we will probably see more young people on scooters. I would like to encourage parents to make sure that they do not leave your home without a helmet on, and that you make sure that you kind of give them that lecture, helmet safety, so that everybody, we don't want to see an accident on our roads. And again, as was previously stated, we want to encourage the drivers to be cognizant and slow down. Hot, dry weather. We are at the end of August, and it is still, the town recently posted a municipality fire ban. And we want people to just pay attention to, as the leaves start to come off of the trees now, and we've still got this hot, dry weather, we are still at risk for fires. So again, know your surroundings, make sure you're doing everything to prevent any risk of forest fire. And that's my segue into the Expo Labrador, which was previously canceled due to the fire evacuation. So they've been rescheduled for September the 10th to the 12th. We won't have our next meeting before then. We know that the Labrador North Chamber of Commerce puts a lot of work into this event, and we're so appreciative of the people that come into our community for the Expo. So we'd like to welcome them, and we hope that this all goes smoothly with no hiccups for them at their second attempt at this event. So. And that was everything for me, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor Andrews, any comments?
Yeah, good evening. Well, I'm not going to beat the student return. That's what I'm doing. I'm out of town, bringing my daughter to university. So, yep, I feel with a lot of folks. So I wish them all the success. Just a couple of quick things. I think the bus, hopefully, we'll get to move forward with the bus project now that I guess the final thing is in place in terms of moving forward with acquisition, and then we can get earnestly into planning and including the community into those final plans from that perspective. I would also, from someone this is the second meeting that I've sat on this end of the phone, I think we honestly need to look at a better quality product to be able to use to call in. It's very difficult to hear everything, and I had to strain considerable to hear Jordan, but I understand his message very loudly and very clearly. Just to revisit the rally that was held. The community council, the town council is not doing. We're not sitting by and doing nothing in terms of this issue. And recently, I think we caught the ear of the province a little bit more than we have been able to so far. And we have seen, I think, some, from what I'm hearing from some folks, some tangible difference and some, plans, I guess, going forward. The plans going forward are nice and easy to announce in that. It is our job now to ensure that those plans do become, come into fruition in the manner that our community wants them to proceed. We again continuously meet with the Premier and the MHA, and we were supposed to have a meeting today that was cancelled because some councillors couldn't be there. But the Zoom meeting that we were going to have, we are now going to have that on the 17th, I think, of September. So that's been rescheduled. So that's good news. But we will continue to keep the MHA and the province in tap with what's happening. Encourage everybody to report things to the RCMP that they see. Continue doing that, because I think that is going to make a difference. And also, there is a meeting coming up with the task force that's looking at future policing in the province, but also in our community as part of that. So there's going to be a meeting that I've asked to have scheduled in a couple of weeks where all of council can be in attendance for that meeting. So that invitation to council will come up in the next few days, I hope. Outside of that, I want to thank staff, as I usually do, for the work that they do, because sometimes it's difficult work you do, and I appreciate it. So thank you. That's it, sir. Thank you very much for chairing the meeting. You did an excellent job.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just have a couple items I want to mention. First one, I'd like to thank Jordan Michelin for coming here as a delegate. Like I said, we don't have a whole lot of delegates here most times, right? So it's nice to see when we have people showing up here. My other comment, I'm agreeing with Councillor Winters there in terms of my condolences go out to Hank Coates' family. I knew Hank personally. I knew what he was dealing with, and I know it's a hard battle, and I know that their family's now in mourning, so I condolence to them. Some other items I'd like to mention. One is the bus item. My concern with the bus is not that we're getting 672,000 from the or feds and 100,000 from the province. My concern is how much is it going to cost to operate on an annual basis after we got it set up and running. Could be more than we anticipate, really. My other items I'd like to mention, this is now the last long weekend of the summer. School goes back after this weekend. I'd like to remind everyone to be safe and enjoy the weekend before everyone goes back to school. I wish I was a young person again going back to school myself. I enjoyed it, actually. I still do use the larder inside, but that's another story. The other thing, one other item, last item, listened to the news last night. If we officially hit 30 degrees today, we set a record again for the hottest number of days above 30. So thank you, and thank you to all the staff for their work and contributions. And I would say we're getting ready to adjourn the meeting. Calling for a motion.
Motion to adjourn? Second.
Seconded. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.